Hello, hello everyone. It is me. It's I, LotusMaje, back with another one. You see the thumbnail, you see the title. Today I'm going to be doing a reading on Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. The reason why this reading has been called on, or the reason behind me doing this reading, is because there's been a little rumor, there's been some gossip on the streets that allegedly A$AP Rocky's side piece was on someone's live stream on Twitch, I think it was, and she told them to mute the mic, and because of course they asked her, like, who have you been in relationship with? Well, I shouldn't say of course, but they asked her who she was in relationship with. I don't know if this girl is like a OF girl, or she's just an Instagram baddie or whatever, or if she's like in the social circle of celebrities. But somehow, some way, she has come into A$AP Rocky's orbit, and allegedly, from what people are saying, reading her lips, because she forgot to cover her lips even though the guy muted the mic, she is alleging that she is having relations with A$AP Rocky. And so a lot of people are wondering, is it true? Is this the reason why Rihanna hasn't been popping out with him as much? Did she used to mess around with him, but she's not? Like, what does Rihanna think about it? And so I figured, why not do a card reading on this? However, before we continue, I already have to pop a lot of people's bubbles. I am a tarot reader. I'm an intuitive tarot reader. So this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. I can only give you what I'm picking up. Somebody else may get something different, but I'm just telling you what I pick up on, and that could be wrong. I kind of like to say it, think of me as kind of like a spiritual translator. Certain things may not translate one-to-one. There may not be certain words. I may mistranslate or misconstrue the meaning of something because maybe that word isn't available or whatever. But I try to give you the unfiltered information that I am getting as best as possible. But I am open to being wrong, and I'm open to being right, because at the end of the day, I am only human. So, you win some, lose some. And that's just what it is. So if you're okay with that, if I have divulged all of that and we can move forward, cool. So I have already cleansed my cards. We're going to shuffle these and we're going to see what we're getting here in regards to A$AP Rocky and Rihanna, because so far it seems like these two have been just kind of like in their own bubble and having a very kind of like respectful relationship, at least on the outside from what I've seen. Look at what has already turned up, and that's not good. I'm gonna flip these. I'm gonna flip that in here. So we're just gonna see what we get. Oh, and the Magician. We're not gonna. What else? False victories. Jesus. Okay, that was a lot of cards that flipped over in this shuffle. I don't know what that's about. And I mean, that's just shuffling. I haven't had that happen in a while, so that's crazy. Hopefully they were just cards that was flipped up from a previous reading. We're going to see A$AP Rocky and Rihanna. I'm going to try to get through this because I have a lot of tension on me from personal stuff. So I'm going to hope that's not going to carry over in this reading. If there is tension between them, I hope that's not what's increasing my own, because that's not cool. So I'm trying to relax, relate, release. Okay. All right, here we go. Nope, we're not counting those. I'm going to mix that up in here. What was this that failed? Oh my gosh, you guys, there's so many cards. That Six of Swords is coming out again. Okay, let's see here. We have the Two of Cups. So what were these three that rolled out? Let's see. Okay. I don't like that all these swords is coming up for these two. So this is what I got for Rocky. This is what I got for Rihanna. Okay, so Rocky is the Six of Swords. Rihanna is the Seven of Swords. Okay, I had a card fall in my lap. Let's see what it is. The Fool in between them. And let's look at the underlying energies. We have the Hermit, Princess of Swords in reverse, and the Ace of Wands. Some passion that died out in this relationship. Okay, let's see here. So the Six of Swords is... Oh, excuse me. I had to burp. The Six of Swords is like wanting to be removed from something like that's harsh to deal with, that can be tumultuous. I have to read this one again, actually, in the book, which she actually intended for the six. Look, I be writing all in this book. It's crazy. The way I be writing in these books. Oh yeah, letting go. Ooh. I'm gonna show it to you all so you can see what I'm talking about, so it won't be like, oh, she's just making stuff up. In this book, ignore all my other writings here, it says release, progress, healing, moving on, letting go, fortitude, transition. And that's in the high vibe, okay? That's... Whew. Why did I make a note about this being in relation to the Lovers as well? But I wonder why he feels like he needs to escape. You know what? I take that back. Because what I get is that I think there's a lot of pressure in this relationship. And there's kind of like, I don't know, like he feels like there's a bigger target on his back. Things are more magnified. And I think that's something that kind of makes him feel like a goldfish in a fishbowl, like, or it makes him feel like a big fish in a fishbowl. It's not the room to grow. It's not that comfortability of kind of like being obscure. Like, don't get me wrong, like I think there are some benefits to him being in the position that he's in with the person that he is with, but it also comes with some challenges, like most things. The Seven of Swords here to me is a bit unnerving, especially from on her end of things, because usually when I see the Seven of Swords, it makes me think of conniving, thievery, backstabbing, trickery. It makes me think of watch what the right hand do, but you're not paying attention to the left. It kind of speaks of like that sneakiness and things like that that's going on. So that's pretty interesting. And then with the Fool being here, it makes me feel like what brought them together maybe was their creativity, or the friendship that, or whatever they once had, whatever that is. I think they're kind of like losing sight of that, and I think that's where some of this is coming in. And I think there's at first there was some kind of like mutual respect and stuff for one another, but I wonder if that's kind of like taking a hit because of something personal that has transpired within their relationship. And I think this is very funny coming after a reading I've done on, whether Meg Thee Stallion messed with him. You can see that, that's here. I've also done another reading on, was I doing a reading on, I think it was Rihanna and Jay-Z. And it was something like, it felt like something came up about Jay-Z not liking that she is involved with A$AP Rocky or something like that. I felt like was coming up, but that may not be neither here nor there. That could just be me doing a bitch of stretching to make that fit. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple of things that's going on here and kind of like why these two aren't working right now, even though I felt like they were working. They were an item. They were kind of I know a lot of people on the internet kind of like to say, you know, she is involved with the Dusty and blah blah blah. But I think there's something to be said of like sometimes your significant other may not be like equally yoked with you financially, but it is your safe space of life. It is your person, you know. Yeah, it just makes me feel like sometimes there's sacrifices with meeting your person, like with all things. Like, is it really what you want? Is this what make you happy? I don't know why suddenly there is a net flying around here. I have not seen a net the entire time. Now suddenly I'm seeing a net. What? They could be trying to tell me something with this reading because I have not seen a net in my house and God knows how long, and now suddenly I got a net flying around here. Especially in this space in my house, it would be so smoked out. They don't usually come in here. Oh, fish. So the fish in the Lenormand usually speaks of like a windfall, fortune. As you can see, it's like coins and stuff coming up here. It speaks to kind of like some financial win, financial gain, good luck. I kind of think of like the, you know, fisherman tales. You know, you go out, you come back with a full net. You know, you're gonna feed, you're gonna feast. Here, and we feast. So it's pretty interesting that the oh, and this is a 7 when you think about 34, you know, 3 plus 4 boils down to 7 here. With the fish coming up in reverse. Why does he feel like there's a handicap here with the financially with being where I would feel like there's more opportunities, if anything. Why does he feel like he's missing out on more opportunities? Like, we've heard all this stuff about him dropping an album, a clothing line, what else? It's some model thing I think he secured. So why does it still feel like you still feel like financially you behind? Unless it's like strings that has come attached with it. Like, oh yeah, you know, front facing, I got all these opportunities, but I'm probably spending more trying to keep up with a certain lifestyle that I don't have. Or I hope it's not this financially feeling financially emasculated. I feel like something flipped over in here and I'm steady trying to shuffle to see if something else is gonna fall out. Okay, there you go. It says, shut up. We got you. I got the card you need. Ooh, the sun coming up in reverse here. What are y'all not happy about? What is going on? And also with the sun coming up in reverse, it's very much making me feel like moon energy, secrecy, things that are hidden, things that won't come to light or you don't want to come to light. What is this? And then that net comes back as I'm shuffling, asking, what is this? The net trying to tell me something. Okay, what is this? I had 2 cards fall in my lap. The book, so some kind of information garden. Usually to me, this is like the social card, parties, networks, book, information. Pomegranate is also here on this card, funny enough. Pomegranate usually to me speaks to like fertility. you know, or I also think of what's that story? Hades and Persephone. Yes, the pomegranate. That's the other one. I know some people also think in the Bible they were alluding to Adam and Eve eating a pomegranate and not an apple. But yeah, I don't know why that's coming up, but these are all the things that's coming up for me right now. The Fool. Something you don't know about a social interaction, or something you found out. The Fool. You probably were blinded to it before, but now you know. What is this energy between them? The Anchor, a heavy weight. Okay, again, I've explained this a couple times before. The owls is kind of like the birds in this deck, and that usually to me speaks of messaging. I usually think of blind items, blogs. I think of rumors, public speculation, you know, those kind of things, especially when it comes to celebrity. And looky here, we have letter. Letter again can speak to certain information is going to be revealed. It can also kind of speak to contracts. I think also it's kind of like the other thing I usually think of, or some kind of documentation, but it's coming up in reverse. So with this, with the information card, and you have like the heavy weight, something that's holding you back, the information, some kind of knowledge, some messaging, these two coming up in reverse. What has been discovered has been kind of like heavy to move forward from? Who done found out something and it made them look at the other person in a bad light? We also had the Clover underneath with the Lucky. Something with a friend. I'm just going to tell you what these cards are giving, or what I think it could be alluding to, because this is not clear to me. And, you know, sometimes it shouldn't be clear to you. I'm not in a relationship, so. That's two to know. Let's see here. Oh, okay, wait. Or these other cards try to flip out and fall out. We have the Priest. As you can see, it came up in shadow attributes. So, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Facilitate spiritual commitment, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Is he spiritual? ASAP don't. He doesn't give me spiritual, but no. I don't know why the Priest will come up for him. Unless it's on like some sinner stuff. I'm, you know, giving up my soul for the sanctity of whatever oppressive system that I'm being indoctrinated into. But I feel like you should have known that from the beginning. I mean, you've been in the music industry for how long? But maybe he ain't been in. You know how they say it's always some kind of secret room, secret society. Let's see. Oh, we have two cards from Myss Rihanna. We have the Damsel in Light attributes, which says, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. And then Engineer in the Shadow, which says, reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. See, that's that business her. That's that side of her that's fighting with that billionaire. It's like her billionaire side fighting with the little girl her that's like, this is what love should be kind of thing. I would think she would probably grown out of that by now, seeing like how some of her relationships has gone, but maybe not. Maybe she's still a hopeless romantic at heart. She is a Pisces. You see these two cards. So, guide, shadow attributes, places, financial gain, and control over imparting spiritual insight. That is so funny that comes up, because that seems like what? The fish. I feel trapped. There's some kind of, I feel like a big fish in a fish bowl kind of energy. He has the priest. Places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. And then we also have the knight. I don't remember if this was to the side or not. I think it was to the side, wasn't it? So I'm going to read both of these. So the knight says loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. This is going the knight and damsel. Shadow attributes, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. So it feels like romantically she felt like, or they both felt like this was going to work. But it also feels like there's external forces, whether it's the money, whether it's the industry. Because we did get that Queen of Swords for the underlying energy, remember? I'm pretty sure we did. Wasn't the Queen, Princess of Swords. You know, I usually say when it comes to those court cards, I'm going to show you again because I don't know if I actually showed it on screen. When it comes to court cards, like the swords or the coins, when I'm doing readings on like celebrities and stuff like that, to me it often feels like, even if I do it for regular people, swords and coins usually feel like business. It feels like agency, structures kind of things, like things that you have to kind of like buy into. And so again, if you don't know court cards, to me, they pretty much like nouns. It's a person, place, or a thing. It could be a thing that you're struggling with, some kind of obstacle that you're dealing with that you have to get over. It could be an actual person, somebody who's like an air sign, whether, you know, we're talking your Aquariuses, your Geminis, your Libras. It could be somebody who's kind of like cold, very analytical, very blunt when it comes to the word. But they can also represent places. So like your places of business, your a cold wintry wonderland, whatever you want. I try to explain to people like the court cards is like nouns. They're a person, place, or a thing. They don't always have to deal with just a particular person. And so I think there's a struggle here where it's kind of like they kind of get roped in. It feels kind of like doomed from the onset. Like they try to find comfort in each other maybe. But, you know, the industry at the end of the day is still in charge, is still running things, is still involved, still very much influential. Because, like, that's literally what I felt like she was getting. The engineer and the damsel, like, I have ideations of what love or what romance should be. Like, I have allegedly, it kind of feels like to me, Rihanna is kind of like a hopeless romantic at heart. She thought she found her person, or at least somebody she could kind of give a Selena Gomez kind of energy. Like, I thought I found that person that, you know, whether through thick and thin, they would be there for me and they would support me through all of the bull crap that's going on. But then I could also still focus on being like a boss babe. Whereas with him, it feels like, you know, yeah, it's cool that I'm with this person who's kind of like elevated my status, but at the point where I've been so elevated where now I just feel like everybody is watching me and I'm not used to being under a microscope like that. It comes with a lot of strings, a lot of mind games that you're like, yeah, I'm used to playing it on like this kind of field. I don't know about this field. Like, this is a different ball game for me. And I think that's kind of like some of the fractures that's coming up with this relationship, which can grow into big chasms in their relationship. But I'm wondering why this sneakiness when it comes to like business and stuff, like the secrecy when it comes to Rihanna. I'm still confused on the priestly here with ASAP, because he doesn't give me like he's a spiritual person. He probably could be, but he doesn't give me like he's a spiritual person and having trouble like merging his spiritual, or putting himself in alignment with how he makes money with his spiritual self. But I could be wrong. He just, again, I don't get that from him. Social research, social capital, social knowing here. What is that? I'm still kind of stumped on that as well, to be honest. But lastly, we're going to look at if the rumors are true. Now that we've done an energy reading on these two, let's see, is the rumors true here? It's ASAP. This is mainly focusing on him. If he's really stepping out. Is he really stepping out? This is a lot. This is a lot. Not even gonna count those. We're gonna mix these up in here a little bit. Yep. Oh, what is this? Ooh. Oop, and there go that Ace of Wands. And let's see, what's this? You see this sticking out? Well, what's the underlying energies here? Five of Cups in reverse. There is some, ooh, the Devil. Remember, this is the Lovers. It could be like the negative side of the Lovers. And you also have the King of Wands, and he does very much give me King of Wands. Beautiful man, has the riz, is well spoken sometimes, even when he's like hating on a certain demographic. He seems like, you know, he has the gift of gab. He could talk you, he could laugh your drawers right off you kind of person, but maybe to a negative point, you know, not for the best. And then we also have death, so rebirth, shedding, a change of something that is ending here. Ooh, Princess of Wands. She do give me Princess of Wands too. Oh gosh. Okay, so what we actually have here on the table that's stuck, we have the Two of Cups, which, if again you don't do tarot, this is basically up there with the major arcana of the Lovers, but it's coming up in reverse. So usually this can be a breaking of some kind of partnership, a commitment, a partnership that is on rocky terrain, that is not working out. It's, you know, it's kind of like in its troubles here with the Two of Cups here. You know, it's the passion is kind of like starting to fade here. There's some reevaluating, wanting to be needed. And then we also have the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Wands is usually kind of like, it's my sex cards, or it's one of my sex cards. You know, this fiery passion, ready to smash, ready to go out, we're moving on to the next level. It can be also a very phallic card as well, but it's coming up in reverse here. So to me, it's kind of like no love lost, the passion isn't there, it's not burning as bright as it used to be. And then we have the Six of Disc here, which is usually like reciprocal, scratch my back, I scratch yours, you know, vice versa. It's kind of like that infinity, you know, give and take, make sure we are equally yoked here, but it's coming up in reverse. And as I mentioned to you all, we had the Five of Cups in reverse, which is usually a grief card, is crying over spilled milk kind of thing. And then again, the Devil and the King of Wands. So this isn't looking very well here. So what I will say, at the least, if he's not cheating, because what would have made me feel like he was really cheating if it was like the Three of Cups or the Three of Wands, because it's usually like, you know, especially with the Cups and the Wands, it's more like romantic, whereas we're like the Three of, or even the Three of Swords, heartbreak and stuff like that. The Three of Coins to me speaks more so to business kind of things, like collaboration, features or something like that kind of thing. The partnerships in like a business context. With this coming up with the Two of Cups here, this more so makes me feel like this isn't cheating, but maybe more so they just aren't, allegedly, Rihanna and ASAP probably aren't seeing eye to eye. They're kind of like on rocky terrain right now. No pun intended. They are experiencing some growing pains, maybe, could be the other thing. You know, they do have all these kids now. That could be a lot of changing and finding out, discovering things about yourself and your partner as you both are being parents. You move into parenthood. Oh, okay. That was crazy. I want to do this one. We have the key. Here go that anchor again. Something about a man. Cross. Usually cross is like a promise, a commitment that may have been broken. A belief. Faith as well. But let's see if this is meant to come out. I'm going to shuffle these back in here. Ooh, they'll turn you upside down. Don't want you upright. Okay. So I'm mistaking it for a card that was meant to be out. Yeah, two cards again. Ooh, and the lilies. Okay, so there's something. So with the lilies, the mountain, and the Two of Cups being here, this makes me feel like there's something that somebody did wrong and they're not willing to admit it. It kind of feels like my ego, or I put my foot in my mouth and now I can't walk it back kind of thing. And so it's just kind of like lingering there. Because the lilies is usually kind of like an apology card for, you know, seeking forgiveness. Yeah, what's another word I can say for it? Paying tribute, maybe is kind of like the other way I want to say it. And then the mountain usually speaks of a hard obstacle, something that's going to take a long time to get over. So it kind of makes me feel like there's an apology needed, but nobody is willing to actually do it because of like maybe ego, or, you know, if I admit this wrong, then what, you know? It's gonna cost me something if I apologize. I don't know why. Okay, well, I get it. I get it. Sometimes you just had them moments where you just like, if I apologize, what is this gonna mean for me long term? Somebody gonna see me as weak. You're gonna think I'm a pushover. Or I actually did mean what I said, but I probably could have said it in a better way. I feel like this, what is this? Child. Is the kids putting the damn stuff? Let's see. Oh, crossroads. So I don't think it comes as a surprise with the Ace of Wands, the star here in the crossroads. It kind of feels like maybe their careers are kind of also being, or their career paths, or what they want to do with their careers could be something that's kind of like bumping heads or making it hard for them to. Why do I feel like this is dealing with her coming back out with an album and him. Because, you know, we've been hearing a lot of rumors lately about, oh, she back in the studio, she back in the studio, she doing this, she doing that. Why do I feel like that's a point of, what's the word? Is it contention? That may not be a word. I may be butchering it. But it feels like that's the point of, like, stress in their relationship. Like, dang, girl, you got everything else. Why you gotta come back? Like, right now. And it's like, but you don't understand. There's other things that's at play if I don't do it. I don't know where this is coming from. I feel like I'm channeling. Am I channeling right now? I'm tapping into something. Oh, okay. Wait, where was that? Because I flipped it just as I noticed what it was. Okay. So the Tower card was sticking out kind of like this as I was shuffling. And I just flipped it back in here, and then I realized, wait, that's the Tower. And I'm thinking about the Six of Discs, reciprocal. And remember, I was just alluding to, like, it feels like her getting back into the music industry while he's kind of trying to really make his mark in music and stuff like that right now, where people really will pay attention to him. It's like, dang, you will come back right now and kind of like, I don't know, steal my shine or overshadow me in a way. And it's like, but you don't understand there's other things that play here behind the scenes. You're not realizing. In the Tower, what I'm trying to get to in the Lenormand, the Tower doesn't speak to like what it does in the tarot, where, oh, there's some great misfortune or calamity that is going to happen. There's a catastrophe. Something bad is going to happen. Blah, blah, blah. There's a breakdown. Usually the Tower in Lenormand speaks to businesses, government entities, agencies. Sometimes it can deal with like cultural, like stamps. Like these are certain things that just don't move culturally. Like that's usually what the Tower deal with. But let's see if that's what's coming up. Because I feel like that's something that's being alluded to. I feel like maybe that's why she got that Seven of Swords. It kind of feels like a deal behind the scenes was made. Kind of the anchor. I'm being weighed down by something that is old. The Six of Discs here. I'm being weighed down. Yeah, it kind of feels like I'm being weighed down by a promise. By something that I said was going to happen. Oh my God. Okay, look. Wait, and I just noticed like on the screen, these kind of look very similar, arrows pointing off in different directions. And remember I was saying with her with the Seven of Swords, again, y'all can just say I'm reaching, that's fine. But I feel like it's a reason why I'm pointing this stuff out, why it's coming up to me. Remember I was alluding to her with the Seven of Swords, misdirection, like misdirection here, misdirection. Pay attention to what the right hand is doing and not seeing what you're not paying attention to what the left is doing. But then also Fortune coming up in reverse is one of the underlying cards. We also have House. This could literally deal with their home structure. Certain things from the external is influencing and dictating what's going on in the internal, what's going on in their home front, their foundation. It's shaking things up, and then also dealing with matters of the heart. The key. What is the key? What comes after the key? Let me see here. Ship. Ship is also sometimes speaking to slow incoming news, things that will take a minute to be revealed. It also could speak to travel, slow travel. It could deal with travel by water as well. Trade is another thing. And then clouds are even stuff. So this is saying like, oh, something has really slowed down for them. Mm. Some of this feels like very normal, kind of like relationship stuff. Like you wouldn't think, oh, celebrities, billionaires would have these kind of like financial talks or struggles or woes, but it feels like some very mundane, like relationship issues on top of like. But there's also things behind the scenes, like that green man behind the curtain that you don't know about. Like it also speaks to like some secretive stuff that's going on as well. I feel. So to me, what I'm getting is it's not so much as cheating, maybe the thing, and it he probably could have been good misstep it out. I'm not gonna say that, you know, but it feels like more so there's a lot of things within their relationship that's coming up that's causing friction. They got them kind of bumping heads. I do want to note this artist card keep wanting to come out, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. I try to not take these cards so literal because, you know, again, this is tarot. A lot of it is spiritual. And again, and it could be me, this could be my blinders, but neither one of them really strike me as like spiritual people. Like I don't see either one of them practicing like Catholic or Christianity or, you know, an ATR or something, or, you know. Yeah, let's get these last two cards and we're gonna wrap it up and just see what else Spirit wants to, you know, divulge to me in regards to. Okay, and these keep falling. So we have the student in the light, we have the seeker in the shadow, and I'm going to read these in a minute. I want to see what else I'm going to get. Yes, I see there's a card flipped over, but I want to see if it's actually going to pop out. Is this dilettante? That's the only one. I want to see if it's actually going to pop out before I just be like, yeah, that's the energy. Nope, a vampire was the one. But I am going to note the dilettante, because it was flipped over in the deck. But let's read what actually fell. So we have the student in the light, attributes saying humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. This could be alluding back to what I was saying for the book when we were doing the energy reading between the two. We had the book in the garden and the fool. What aren't you informed of? What aren't you knowing? Or what are you opening yourself up to being more informed and knowledgeable about here with the lifelong learning with the student? And then we have the seeker, which came up in the dark, or the shadow attribute, which says inability to commit to a path once found. Inability to commit to a path. Misdirection, the fool. Was it an agreement made between the two? If somebody is kind of like going off book? That kind of happens in relationships sometimes. Vampire, and that's not to say anybody is right or wrong or this person is bad or whatever. Like sometimes you have those moments in your relationships where people just, you kind of grow apart to grow together. Vampire light attribute, make you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. Okay, and the dilettante or the dilettante says, because it was in the light attributes as well, says the lights in the arts without having to be a professional alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. This made me just feel like there's some kind of creative difference that's coming up between these two. What's the underlying energies? Child, which says friendship with animals, communication in nature and spirits. Destroyer, shadow attributes, which says intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Mm. And then we have visionary, also shadow attributes. And it says, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Is that the dilemma here with the spiritual thing that's coming up here? Do I conform or not? You know, I gotten this far without all of that, but now I'm conforming. It's kind of like tampering your vision, the lights, the honesty of your art here. Compromising on that. Yeah, it feels like there's a couple of things going on here. Again, I'm not personally getting that the cheating is the big issue. If it, you know, is a thing that's going on in a relationship, I'm not getting that the cheating is the big issue. I'm getting, you know, again, if that is something that's going on, allegedly. But what I am getting from these two, it does feel like there is some. There were certain agreements or understanding, but it was never really actually discussed, maybe. And now it's coming to kind of like bite somebody in the woohoo. And I feel like there is some creative differences or executive decisions that are being made, and it's someone feels like they're not being roped in or being kind of like involved in the decision making that's going on. And I think that's what's kind of like been wearing on stuff. It kind of feels like, okay, you make it seem like I wear the pants, but I really don't. Like, it also feels like there's certain like agreements or promises or contracts or something like that that's been kind of made behind the scenes. It's tying somebody's hands. I don't want to say it's Rihanna, but you know, I've been wrong on that before, kind of like splitting hairs on stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna, and it does feel like there is something here where it just feels like somebody did something in the wrong and they have not come forward to be like, own they fault, or they, the parts in it where they played wrong, or they misstepped or misspoke or whatever the case may be. And it does feel like there is some tension between the two right now. Like they're not seeing eye to eye. Because of all of these other fractions that's going on. Woo, child. Yeah. I do kind of feel like a third party is kind of involved, or third parties is kind of involved in kind of like making this not work either. But yeah, I'm not getting anything else. Yeah, I think I've alluded to what I can hear. Speaking in code, read between the lines, or let me know what you all were getting, or which what I something I said maybe resonated with you. Let me know down in the comment section, and we'll talk about it. Yeah, that tension I know has not left me during this reading. I tell you that, but I feel like something else is wanting to come through. That's why I'm still kind of like sitting here. It feels like something else wants to come through, or there's like a red string that's being connected here, and I'm not. It's like it feels like it's something very obvious, and I'm overlooking it, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. Mm, yeah, I don't know. I'm lost. I'm trying to pull a string and follow it now. Yeah, it's something very obvious here that I'm kind of like not saying or overlooking, and yeah, you'll probably throw tomatoes at me, whatever. If you pick up on it, let me know. But yeah, I'm just mm, I'm not gonna hurt myself trying to figure it out. I can't be that invested. Anyways, let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. This is what I got from this reading. If you like this reading, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to share it with other people who would enjoy this reading as well. If you would like to see the next time I upload, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell, selecting it to all so you can see the next time I post. And with that, I will see you all in the next reading. Thank you all for getting me so close. We're so close to 500 subscribers, and then the next thing you know, we'll be at 1,000. So let's help run it up, help get me there. I thank you all so much for watching, because you could be doing something else with your time. I'm very much aware of that. So thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, and for sharing. And I will see you all in the next video. Have a great night or day wherever you are. See ya. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye.